It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish. Well, I'm excited today. I'm going to be introducing you to the amazing Amy Powers. And oh my goodness, she's going to blow you guys away. This woman is absolutely fantastic. She is inspirational, she's empowering, and she's doing so many great things. And she's going to be talking about her brand new book that's going to be launching here. So, oh my goodness. For any of you that have just tuned in for the very first time, thank you so much. The Divas That Care is going into its 11th season, and it's because of all of our amazing listeners that we are now interviewing women from around the globe. We are listened to in over 30 countries, and we are so grateful for the opportunities to get to know these amazing women that are doing fantastic things. And as I said, today's fantastic guest is Amy Powers. Amy, welcome to the Divas That Care.
Thank you so much, Candace. I'm really excited to do this with you.
I'm excited too. You know, you and I are just getting to know each other. We've had some conversations, and you blow my mind. I'm absolutely think that you are an extraordinary woman. You are doing so many great things, and you know, I know today's program is going to be so much fun.
That's the intent, because if you're not having fun, you're not getting it done. So
exactly
it. So let's do it.
Let's do it. So, Amy, would you mind spending a couple of minutes sharing a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, so I am a New York native, Long Island, actually. Anyone out there is from that area, but I live in California now. I have had multiple careers, multiple experiences, which I could get into here or later. But for the last 11 years, I have been unexpectedly in the health and wellness business with a network marketing company. And actually, you know, that changed the whole tenor of my life. And when I think about where I was and what I was doing and what I am doing now, it's unimaginable, right? But it's really true that my life is so much better now than it was before, and it was something I didn't see coming.
Isn't that amazing? I've heard that so many times from different people that have joined the network marketing industry, that their lives have changed that it's so different. And for a lot of people, so much for the better. I love that, because those stories are so powerful.
Yeah, I actually, I mean, if you looked at my resume, you would think I was the last person on earth to consider doing network marketing, because I had this very Ivy League, pristine East Coast kind of thing going on, right? I actually graduated from Harvard Law School, and I went to Columbia for business school, and I was on one of those very straight and narrow corporate paths when I started out. And so, you know, there are a lot of people who do that who are perfectly happy. I wasn't one of them. I was making a lot of money, but I was really unhappy. So part of the reason I think that happened is so that I could open up other people's eyes who might be going on a path like that and say, wait a second, does this feel good to me? Because it didn't feel good to me. So I actually did a complete pivot business-wise in my late 20s, and I became a songwriter. And I had a 30-year career as a professional songwriter, and
I love
that had its good. Yeah, had its good side. I was a lyricist and melody writer for all kinds of stuff, from Broadway stuff to a bunch of the Barbie movies. People sing to me all the time. All my stuff from many years ago, but a lot of pop stuff and K-pop and like all over the world, all different things, movies. But, you know, the thing about having a creative career is that it's completely financially unpredictable. So I'd had these two completely different experiences, one which was very predictable but not for me and gave me a lot of money but no joy, and then the other one gave me a lot of joy. And I didn't know when the money was coming. Which was okay when I didn't have kids. But then I had kids. And my husband was also a creative. And, we just rode that roller coaster. And sometimes that's a fun ride and sometimes it's not. Ultimately not for a lot of people. So that's when, about 11 years ago, I ended up switching gears completely. And if you want, I will tell you, I'll give everybody who's listening the quick and dirty version of that, if you want.
I would love to. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so here's what was happening. It's kind of crazy because what was happening 11 years ago is sort of like what's happening now. There was major jolt in the economy. People didn't know what to do, especially in certain ways. So there was a worldwide recession going on, and I was in a pretty crazy place. I was almost 50 years old, and I was what I described to people as sick, stuck, and scared, which is a really crappy place to be. So I was sick with an autoimmune disease that hadn't been diagnosed yet. All I knew was I was exhausted all the time. I was stuck financially because the music business had gone online, but it wasn't yielding money yet from online, and there was this big recession. And then I was scared because my kids were in grade school, and I did not have a plan B for them or for me. And my husband and I, we always thought we'd do what we always did, but it wasn't working. And so I was waking up every single morning really in a panic. And that is not a great feeling. And then all of a sudden, out of the total blue, one of my collaborators wrote to me and said, I have a great friend in the music business who started another business, and she's looking for entrepreneurial partners and people, and I thought of you. Would you like to be connected? So, I said yes.
Wow.
And that one referral changed my life. So I learned about this amazing company that this person was with. I thought it was a music business job, but it wasn't. It was a health and wellness company, this network marketing company. And I learned about this, and I had never really considered this profession before. As a matter of fact, when I was in business school, people who did network marketing, they were sort of like people who couldn't get a job, right? Not people who had MBAs, blah, blah, blah. Now, of course, it's totally different. There's so many professionals of all kinds of sorts who do this as a side hustle, to what they're already doing, or some people are looking for a way to shift gears and eventually get out of what they're doing. So this is, this becomes a lifesaver, and that's what happened for me. In the beginning, I was having none of it. I was super skeptical. But then the more research I did, the more I realized, oh my goodness, this kind of business model is the wave of the future, right? This is where business is going. And in fact, now network marketing, or sometimes it's called social marketing, this is the fastest growing business model on the planet. And so what I feel I achieved here, because I came in, and over time, not overnight, but over time, I got to the top level of my company. Not everybody wants to do that. I'm sort of programmed for that. I was looking for that. I did that. So I know it's possible. You don't have to, but a lot of people just do it for a little extra money. But I wanted a big change. But I realized it was possible. I realized how brilliant the structure of this was, and how life was changing with online shopping and people being connected on social media and all the things that we're doing now. So I was able to eventually let go of what wasn't working for me and embrace this as what was working best for me. And when that happened, I suddenly realized, oh my goodness, I have an obligation to tell other people that this is an option for them, because it was my solution. It might not be everybody's solution, but it was my solution. And I know from my experience that there are a lot of people out there who are actually looking for solutions, and they're just not talking about it.
Yes. You know what? I completely agree with that. And it's something that I love hearing stories like that, because network marketing, as a lot of our listeners will know, is that it really changed my life in the fact that it allowed me the time freedom to spend with my family, which, like yourself, when they were younger, it was so important to be able to do that.
Right. And now it's not just about taking care of kids, because let's look at what's happening in North American culture, right? We have people needing to take care of parents. We have people needing to take care of themselves. There's so many people who are, for one reason or another, needing time flexibility. And this gives it to them. What amazes me about you, Candace, is that you have taken that free time and done so much with it for other people through your work here. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. No, and that's what I think. I always laughed at people, and I always thought, okay, what am I doing with my life? And I have the opportunities now that I never had before with that business structure.
Right.
And that it was the most amazing feeling I ever had.
Yeah, you have those opportunities, and also we have something as network marketers that other people don't have, no matter how successful they get, which is the ability to pass this gift on to anybody else who wants it and is willing to work for it, right? Because, if you're the head of a company, you can't just pass the baton to any employee in your company or every employee in your company, right? You can't. And here we're not employees, but we can pass on our opportunity to anybody who can pass it on to anybody. It's, I'm going to be 60 years old this month, and I had this epiphany recently, Candace. I thought, okay, I have limited time on the planet, but I can have unlimited impact. And one of the big ways I can have unlimited impact is through the vehicle of network marketing.
I love that. That is a strong, powerful statement right there. And I don't think, like you're saying, not a lot of people understand that. Right. As
a matter of fact, I get the hairy eyeball from so many people still when I tell them that what I do is work with a network marketing company. In fact, instead of getting a round of applause, I get, that crazy stare, or that, or that, oh, it's one of those things. Guess what? One of those things is great. You're doing it right if you surround yourself with the right people, if you're with the right company.
And that kind of leads me into one of the most powerful things one of the things I want to really chat with you today is about a book that you have recently wrote, and that's going to be launching here, about network marketing. And I want to ask you, before we kind of dive into what the book's about, why did you decide to write this book?
That's an interesting question. I would say I didn't decide about it. It decided about me. It's just like everything else in my life that I've been passionate about. It came to me, literally came to me. I woke up one morning with title in my head. So there, it was one of those things where I was being called to do something that had more to do with what I could do for other people than for me, right? So the book is called No Degree Required. Network Marketing the Ivy League Way. And I realized, and I have to tell you, I am not the only Ivy Leaguer I know in network marketing by any means. Not at all. But I'm the only one so far, I think, who's thought about writing a book from that angle, because this is a profession that still is looking for legitimacy in certain quarters. And I figured, I think some people would think, hey, if somebody who's an Ivy Leaguer with a couple of degrees from schmancy institutions would do something like this, maybe I should take another look at it. So that's what happened. I started to write this book, and I really needed to write out my journey for myself. So it has two parts. It's, first explaining why this is so smart for so many people, and then it's telling how to do it in what I call the Ivy League way, which is really just a code word for, highly ethical, above and beyond, do it in the best way possible for the best result. And it doesn't have anything to do with where you got your degrees or whatever. But I care about people knowing about this option, because I think a lot of people are reevaluating their lives right now. And when I started this book, it was before 2020. It was 2019. But even then, even before all the insanity of, the disruption in our world, this had appeared as something that needed to be offered. So I think a lot of people are, they're tired of what I call the grind to five, right? They get into a world of work that they thought they were supposed to be in, and it's not satisfying. Or like you said, we're freedom, or, people want to be entrepreneurial, but they don't want all those hassles of having to actually start a business. You get to come in here and you're with something that's up and running, and you just have to sort of plug and play and be an authentic brand ambassador. It's beautiful.
I love that. Yeah, you know what? I absolutely think that's brilliant. And when I first started, it was because it was too expensive to have my kids in daycare. And when you have 4 little kids at home, it's like, okay, I need to figure something out. And it's become so much more than I could have ever imagined. And I love that you have wrote a book for people, for everyone that they can understand that this is an amazing opportunity to, change not just your life, but lives of the people around you.
Right. And not only that, it's a way to get things that we value to people in a win-win kind of situation. I mean, we're all talking about all the stuff we like all the time anyway, on social media, person to person. Yes. We're talking about that stuff, but we just never get paid for it. What if you could get, a few $100s a month, a few $1,000s a month, or whatever, right? Just for sharing what you really are passionate about, and showing other people how to do that. Companies are very willing to set up online ways of working and rewarding people. I just saw this week Amazon is doing some kind of program. It's not network marketing because you actually can't empower other people to do this. It's just a one level thing, but they want to reward you when you encourage people to shop from them. And so this is a way to take it further. This is a way to take it to the point where you can have a business. I don't know what it's like in your company. In my company, it's a willable asset after a certain point when you hit a certain amount of sales volume on the regular. So that's pretty incredible.
It's huge.
And yeah, it's huge. But even if it's just for a little, you know how many people are looking for that little extra something, like you were talking about daycare, right? That's one expense, not a world-changing thing, but a family-changing thing, yes, but not a change the whole world thing. However, when you change enough people's lives by giving them an opportunity to make that little bit extra, there's a lot more ease in the world. There's a lot more comfort in the world. People can start to think about something other than just putting on their own oxygen masks. And that is so important, especially right now, I think.
Especially right now. And if we can alleviate some of those stresses, I always love that part of it, is when I knew that stress went away in some people's lives. It was like, they understood. They were just, it makes the family dynamics so strong.
Yes, if you have support. And if you don't have support, you may get support the more successful your business gets, when people say, wow, that little thing you're doing actually is doing something. But, I think that all the experiences that we have when we are stressed out, like my example of being sick and stuck and scared, I think that happened to me for a reason, so that I would be more empathetic when other people were going through that. I found my solution to it. It happened to be through network marketing. I was very blessed. I had amazing mentors, and a company that I love. And people in the book, I talk about how you should find your fit in terms of what kind of company and what kind of community is going to work best for you, because there are thousands. It's like saying, do you want to go to McDonald's, or do you want a 4-star restaurant, right? It's got to be what you like. But when you find that fit, this can give you whatever you want. And I really needed, as a human being, as a soul, to go through some challenges so that I could turn around and offer other people solutions to their challenges.
Oh, I love that. And I was going to ask you, what type of topics are going to be in your book for people to check out?
Well, it tells you a little bit about what network marketing is, a little bit about what it isn't, right? Because there's so many misconceptions and misperceptions.
Oh, yes.
It tells you the kind of people who do well at this. It tells you if you want to. It tells you how to go about successfully creating a network marketing business. It gives a ton of tips. And look, one of the things I love about this business is we all teach each other so willingly. So when you start with a network marketing company, you have mentors, and they're going to show you the way because it's in their best interest financially and in every way to show you to be successful. So it's about learning that there's another way of living than the one that's competitive and critical. It's about learning that there is this whole other way of doing business that is supportive, mutually beneficial. I think it's quite brilliant. And it's a short book because everybody's attention spans are short. And
yes, they are.
We don't need a scientific treatise on this. We just need to tell me what it is. Tell me if it could work for me. This little place inside that you can take notes about it. I even actually have a quiz that if you're listening and you want to see if this is the kind of thing for you, you can just jump on my quiz. It's called www.readyforchangequiz.com. And you can see, are you the kind of person that this might be a fit for?
Oh, I think that's perfect.
We
want to make things easier. I'm going to be posting that on our social media so our listeners can check that out too. Well, Amy, I've had a fantastic time. I want to ask you a few more things here.
Sure.
How can our listeners purchase this book? Do you have a website? Do you have a place where they can go check it out?
Okay, so the answer is that starting March 18th, it's going to be up on Amazon, and all they have to do is put in Amy Powers, no degree required, and they can have their choice of getting an actual paper copy, or for the first few days between the 18th and the 22nd on Kindle, it's going to be half price, so like $4.99 on Kindle. So they can just go to Amazon, Amy Powers, no degree required. But also anybody who follows me at my Instagram or Facebook, and that is at Amy Powers LA, because that's where I am now, at Amy Powers LA. They can get invited to come to my book launch, which will be really fun, on the 22nd. And there's some special stuff going on there as well, actually, from all kinds of network marketing companies are going to be offering things. So they can find it there, and they can follow me. And, I'm looking to help people join the club in this business, really. So whatever I can do to be an advocate to people, I'm there.
You are amazing, girl. I love this. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners today. And my last thing for you, Amy, is you're welcome. Do you have any last-minute tips or anything you'd love to share with our listeners today?
I think that in this time, especially with what's happening in the world right now, it's incumbent upon all of us who can be positive to stay positive and think about the win-win situations in life. I think that's really important. I think that what you offer here is a place of great grace for that, and I'm really grateful that you do. That would be it. That would be it. You're never alone is the other thing I'd say. There are always people around to help you, especially if you jump into network marketing as a business. So, find your tribe, find your community.
I love that. I love your tips and tools. I love your your inspirational talk today, because I think it's really important for our listeners to hear that. And these opportunities are global. You know, it's not just for people here in North America. These are global opportunities, and I hope that each and every one of you goes and picks up Amy's new book, because I think you're going to get a lot from it. So, Amy, thank you so much for sharing with us about your book launch.
You are so welcome, Candace. I cannot wait to further this conversation and this relationship. And I welcome, hearing from anyone who's even the least bit curious about this profession. Thanks.
Oh, that's excellent. And you know what? We're definitely going to be having Amy back on our program again, because she has so much to share with all of you. So make sure that you check out some of her future shows that she's going to be having on here. Again, to all of our listeners, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's program. I'm going to be posting all of Amy's social media contact information so that you can check her out. And we'll be posting about her book as soon as it launches, too, on all of our social media, because I think it's really important. So, again, thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate you being my guest today.
Thank you.
Oh, it is my pleasure. And we'll definitely have you back on again. Until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.